Welcome into episode 130 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube. As always, with me, host Stefan Loeffler, Adjunct Wax Twins.
Oh, hi.
Ben Wilson at our trading cards, and I'm Tim Schipler at Big Ship 79. We are podcast by collectors for collectors. So I'm going to bring you a smart and insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific,
10 Central,
on YouTube, Periscope, Facebook Live. Follow us on Twitter about the cards. We are available as a podcast everywhere you can find one. Check out the website aboutthecards.wordpress.com. We have a very special guest hanging out with us tonight, Andrew from Bayside Breakers. What's up, Andrew? Welcome back.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate being on here again.
Yeah, it's been a little bit since we've had you on. So what have you been up to, man?
Well, just living the dream, getting out of the house maybe once a week, but being able to rip a lot of cards, open up some pretty amazing stuff, and meeting some more cool people in the hobby, so I can't complain.
Oh, that's cool. I have to say, I'm going to show my hockey knowledge off. That's a Joe Thornton jersey, isn't it?
It's absolutely a Joe Thornton jersey. I wore my hockey jersey in honor of the NHL schedule being released today. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing Joe Thornton in the teal this year, but I respect his decision to, doesn't have many years left. He's got to try and chase the cup.
Can I show my hockey knowledge? It's not a championship Thornton jersey because it's a Sharks jersey, right?
Yeah. As a Sharks fan, you kind of get used to the playoff shows, right? Yeah. It is what it is, but when we win that first one, it'll be that much sweeter.
Well, it's kind of like they're the LA Dodgers. Maybe they just need a shortened season when they can just come out and
That is true. We are one of the older teams in the league, so the less games we got to play, the less chances we have are for our guys to need crutches and walking canes.
Right.
Well, it's great to have you on. So I know that you had some discussion with Ben about soccer cards, and we're gonna. I kind of want to ask you a couple questions, and something about soccer cards being funneled through Singapore in recent months. And what's going on there?
So I've been breaking and selling soccer cards since I started. I'm a big soccer fan myself, international, and so I've throughout the past couple of years, you've seen a lot of cards go ship all over the world compared to breaking, baseball, football, basketball, where it's mostly a localized American market, but, soccer's nationwide or worldwide. So you get all that. I get customers from all over the world. Lately, I've noticed that a lot of the cards that I'm shipping are going down to Southeast Asia. So Singapore, Malaysia. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because those countries are starting to discover what card breaking is, or if it has something to do with maybe, and I'm no Asian import-export expert, so maybe there's import-export rules that they're getting around with there. I know Singapore is known as a tax haven for where people go if they don't want to pay taxes, so maybe that's part of the case. But I've noticed too, and then when I'm buying cards for my soccer PC, I've noticed a lot of the sellers are also coming from Singapore. So that's just something I've noticed recently. Now, I know Panini has also then focused a little bit on the Asian market. I've known some of their releases, Chronicles, for example, they've released what they call the Tmall version, which is an Asian exclusive. It's supposed to be an Asian exclusive that has certain parallels that are only found in that set. So I don't know if it's Panini has started to push into there as well, or the Asian countries are finding out about this a little bit more, or probably a little bit of both, to be honest. But it's really interesting to see the rise of the Asian markets in the card collecting industry. I mean, we always knew basketball was popular over in the Asian countries, but soccer is starting to rise. And one thing I will say that those countries have in common: Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, which also has a large card market, I've noticed, is that they are all former British colonies, and so they have that built-in British love of the game as well. So it's really interesting to see how these Asian countries are starting to dive into the market as well.
It was when we had that private conversation, my first thought, just from an economic standpoint, would have been tariff based, that it might be easier to funnel it there than having it directly delivered to, say, China, for instance. But again, that's all speculation, and we don't know that for certain. But it was definitely interesting just because, when I talking for all three of us, we particularly don't delve into the soccer part of the hobby. So we weren't going to see that. So when you mentioned it was definitely something that was like, well, that's definitely interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, just from my own personal reading the news, you always see these stories of like the Singapore authorities catching some smugglers, bringing some wildlife in and out of the country. So I don't know if that is a correlation between that as well. Like they already have the network set up for that kind of operation, or that's just the way that their economy works, is they allow more free trade agreements between the Asian countries as well. So it was really interesting to see, and it's a little bit surprising that it hasn't translated over into baseball yet. I know baseball is a little bit different in that the Japanese people tend to collect the Japanese players, and they're more country specific, whereas with the soccer market, they're not really focused on the South Korean players only being collected by people from South Korea. There's a lot more crossover in that sport.
So if they are smuggling it through the Singapore area, then I guess that makes you like the Han Solo of soccer cards, right?
I'll take that. I guess. I mean, I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would call myself a nerf herder or anything, but maybe.
So what you're saying is you have a best time on the Kessel Run.
Well, if you round down, then yeah.
We just went full on nerd on this show. That's awesome.
I have a question. So we have the World Cup coming up. Was it 2022, correct?
Right.
And then it comes to the United States in 2026 for the first time since 94.
Yep.
Do you think that soccer could be one of the more sought after sports in this upcoming year of 2021?
So the soccer card market is a little bit weird because you have these club teams, like your Manchester United, those teams, and they play every year in what's called the Champions League, where the best teams in Europe all get together. And then you have like the European Championships, which was supposed to be held this year. It got delayed to next year. And the World Cup is every 4 years. And it's different in that when it's every 4 years like that, that's when you can really make a name for yourself. So we saw, I think in 2018, it was Kylian Mbappe from France really made a name for himself because he had a big tournament and he segued that into a huge collecting market. I think the 2022 year is probably going to be a little bit too soon for some of these American kids because you got the American team has really great young talent coming up. You got Gio Reyna, who some of you guys might know. He's Claudio Reyna, the American legend's son. Everyone knows Pulisic, but you have all these other guys. You got Dest, who's playing over in Barcelona with Messi. You got Weston McKennie playing with Cristiano Ronaldo in Juventus, and all these guys, I don't think are older than 22 at the oldest. You got Gio Reyna's like 19 years old. So in 2 years' time, they might be a little bit too young to really make a splash. But you think 6 years from now, those guys are 25, 26, 27 in a World Cup in the U.S. on home soil. They really, and I am kind of a homer, let's face it, we live here, but they really do have a chance to go really deep in the World Cup. And that's when American people really tune into soccer. So a lot of these young guys, I have a feeling in 6 years in the U.S., they're going to make a big splash, and it's going to be it has the potential to be huge. Like they have the potential to go to the semifinals, the finals. I predict in 6 years. And with Panini Prism World Cup, that's always a popular set. So it has the World Cup in 2 years might be a little bit too early for the U.S., but I'm in 6 years' time when it comes home, it's going to be soccer mania. I think it's going to be that whole summer is just going to be nothing but World Cup and soccer.
I just want to bring the Boobabellas back or whatever those horns were.
The Boobabellas, yeah.
Oh my god! I remember waking up because I'd fall asleep with Sports Center on. I'd wake up like at 3 a.m. here, and they'd have a game live on. It's like,
yeah,
what is going on? We're going to get into the meat of the show, but we have a question. We always ask, hey, your card and stuff, and you've already answered that. But this is going to be a topic for our show next week, the last show of the year. But what are your hobby goals for 2021 for personally and for Bayside Breakers?
So I'll start with Bayside because I'm more into my personal. I'll talk more. Bayside, we had a good year. We've opened some cool cards. That's why I love to do it. I love to open up these cards. We broke XR. I only broke like 5 boxes of it, and we hit the 1-of-1 laundry tag Tua auto. Like that's a kind of card that I would never get a chance to hold, and here I am. It's in my hands, and so I really want to focus more on the stuff that I like personally. So this past year, I've kind of delved into some newer products, and it's really expanded my horizon. So I'm going to try and push more into the into stuff that I personally would collect more. In terms of my personal collection, I'm going to try and we got my alma mater, UC San Diego, got Mr. Irrelevant in the draft with MLB, Shea Whitcomb, which, 5th round pick. Normally that's a pretty good pick, but when your draft is only 5 rounds, he's technically the last guy picked in the draft. I really want to chase a lot of his cards when they start coming out. And then in terms of my main collection, Will Clark, if I can get the 1986 Donruss Highlights white letter variation, if it exists, of Will Clark, I'll just be like, it would make my whole year, just that one card, because I just can't find it and I need it.
Nope. Yeah, I love it. I need to have it. There's that one card you just need to have.
Surprisingly, not one we mentioned last week, but that's a fun error variation.
Yeah, and it's nitty-gritty, the printing.
It's not proven that it even exists. They only certain white letter variations have been found in the wild, so I don't even know if it really exists. But if it does, it's got to be mine.
So, Shep, this is going to tick you off because, now you got to have it, of course.
What are you going to do to me now, Steph? What print dots variation?
I'm going to
color
pull
swap.
My best Mark Hoyle and show you something that you can't afford.
Oh, thanks.
Hey, whoa. The hobby's about to get a lot of infusion of some stimulus money here soon.
White highlights, yellow highlights. White highlights, yellow highlights.
What's the price on the white highlight Bo Jackson?
I have to sign in.
Was it 600 or something, I thought?
Good take.
Oh, you can afford that second that bill gets signed tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later in the show.
With all the money that we make off of this podcast.
Hey, you know what I'll do is I'll just sell a couple of my Horton Tuckers, and I'll be able to buy 2 or 3 of them.
I got something you can sell.
That's a card, my friends. Nice pull.
Good.
That's that. Would you if someone offered you, if you had to give that card and $200 for a Sidney Crosby Young Guns or a Connor McDavid Young Gun, would you do it?
Yeah.
Right now?
Sure. Probably.
Let's get into it. The week that was last week's releases. Topps Living Week 145. Card 371, Aaron Nola, pitcher, Philadelphia Phillies. And card 372, Ronaldo Nunez, DH of the Baltimore Orioles. Topps did not update the sold numbers there, but you can expect them to be in the 17 to 1800s. We had 1920 Prism Premier Stock Hobby Hybrid Basketball and 2020 Immaculate Football. Hey, Andrew, did you get to open any of the premium stock?
I opened a few boxes for myself. I didn't get enough to break, so I opened a few. I pulled a John Morant insert and a Donovan Mitchell auto, so not bad, but they're nice cards. I'm probably going to be a parrot of what you guys say. It shouldn't have been a standalone set. It should have been an insert in the regular hoop set. But they're nice cards.
Yeah, I think something like that, if it had been like one a box or a couple a case, because there's quite a few boxes when you get hoops, if I'm not mistaken, in a case. Yeah, like even if it's every other box. Like that would really be a nice chase card. We see all these other chase cards that they have, and people die for them, like go crazy for them, like the Color Blast and the Downtowns and all those other ones. Just because it's different, it looks cool, and it just adds some excitement when you're opening a pack. So probably like hoops. I could see that really, look at that right
Downtowns, you say?
Yeah, he's got a spot of everything, dude.
Yeah, and the downtowns are by far one of the best insert sets we've seen, in my opinion, for the last couple of years. I mean, if we're just
let's be honest, probably since like Provision, right? Like he has that feel.
It's possible. I mean, there's not a bad looking one that I've seen personally. I mean,
and those color blast cards, dude.
Either to the team or to the city or a combination of both. It's just
or the player. There's weird, it's got cool stuff going on in the background with being very stuff.
You saw that with Project 2020 that there were certain artists that incorporated certain things that were specific to the player, whether it be Ricky Henderson's, area code. It's how many home runs Ken Griffey Jr. hit, different home runs in different parks. And, there were certain things that certain artists incorporated that made you think, okay, what was the significance of this? And that's what I liked about the downtown inserts, outside of it just being something to do with the Miami Dolphins and the ocean with Tua. There were certain aspects of certain cards that made you question, okay, where were they going with this? And then, it was player specific, city specific. You had to kind of be familiar with not just the team, but maybe the city and the player themselves.
Well, and speaking of the Color Blast, you saw that Panini announced they signed, speaking of Morant in particular, exclusive multi-year agreement for autographs memorabilia, and as well as a larger-than-life mural in Color Blast form.
And that he went off
city of Memphis.
That kid is going to be special. I mean, that guy has so much talent. The train might have already left the station on that one. If you're looking to, speculate or, if he's your guy and he's your PC guy, man, he's going to cost some money.
Yeah, that's my buddy Brian reached out to me right as we're getting ready to go live because I showed him some Jaw Prism rookies last night, and he goes, "Hey, how much for one of them?" I was like, "Oh, like $10,000." He told me his wife has stupid money, and so I was like, "Well, okay."
Didn't you sell what was it, an orange something to his last year?
Yeah,
like $285.
The orange autograph out of retail, I sold for like $800, and I looked recently, and there was a sale on one. There was 2 Morant autos, and it was a best offer for $3,000. So say it was $1,500, but the 800 I covered all of my cost, and I built 2 complete sets. I had extra, I got 5 Morants. I have a bunch of Zion. I got to keep my Zion green, the red, white, and blue Morant. All these other ones I got to hold on to. And I'm not a big autograph guy, and so I was like, hey, if I can take one card and pay for everything I bought and the rest is all free, and I sold a bunch of the singles, and I still am selling them on eBay, the color parallel. So, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, rule 101 of selling: never, ever, ever look back.
No, and don't ask Cardboard Icons about the pink Luka rookie he sold.
Yeah, no, I sold a ton of 09 Bowman Trouts for not. Let's just say that if the 4 of us wanted to go out to the Carl's Jr., the McDonald's tonight, I sold a couple of Trout 09 Bowmans that may or may not have been enough money, probably not, to buy all 4 of us a dinner.
No, the dollar menu.
So probably not.
Yeah, like in the $6 to $8 range each.
Hey,
so but at the time, that's what they were going for.
Yeah. Hot off the press is this week's new releases. Topps Living Week 146. We had card 373. I think we mentioned this player like a couple of weeks ago. I'm like I need to go back and check the files. Johnny Bench, Hall of Fame catcher, Cincinnati Reds, and then card 374, Brandon Woodruff, pitcher, Milwaukee Brewers. So again, okay, so you're getting a current day player on a team that's been unrepresented, that doesn't have a ton of like big star potential guys on there, but Woodruff's been a solid player for him. And then you pair him with a Hall of Famer from a great team that dominated a whole decade of baseball, who was in the news recently because he was trying to sell memorabilia, and his friend actually bought the memorabilia and gave it back to him, so he could, So I think that's pretty awesome. So, and I'm still digging that Brewers hat, by the way.
Yeah, it's good looking week for the. In fact, I was in my local Walmart last night, and I saw like a little old man, probably in his 60s or 70s, wearing an old school Brewers hat like that. And I was like, seriously? You know, I mean, we're here in the general Sacramento area of California. You don't see a whole bunch of Brewers gear around town.
Hey, well, I got a Brewers hat over here somewhere.
Yeah, but I mean, the city I live in has like maybe 40,000 people. The odds of seeing it, you know, I mean, the odds of there being one here first off, and then seeing it late at night, it's kind of neat to see that.
Well, and it is like a top five hat design. You get the kids that ask, well, what is it? It's not just a glove. There's the Milwaukee, there's the Brewers, and of course, naturally, baseball.
That's in my top three.
Whenever you point that out to someone who hasn't seen it, kind of usually blows their mind. It's just a great logo.
Yeah, it is. That and the Expos and the A's are probably top three.
Well,
I don't know. I as much as I hate them, the Yankees have a pretty solid.
You're right on 2 of 3 there.
You're right. The Expos, you know, they don't exist anymore. So,
we also had 2019-2020 Panini Flawless Basketball drop today, $6,000 a box. Now, because Blowout was sold out, David Adams was sold out, Steel City was sold out. I had to go to eBay for price comp just to get a comp of what it was sold for, what it's selling for. So $6,000 a box, 1 pack per box, 10 cards per pack, 8 autos, 1 mem card, 1 diamond card. It's a 200 card set. The base cards represent the jewel of the checklist, and each comes with a diamond embedded in it. The print runs are tiny with just 20 copies per card, and that includes the rookies. There are no stickers in Flawless. Well, I'd hope not. Every autograph is on card, and the Flawless patch autographs, signature, prime materials, and star swatch signatures come with some unique swatches like logoman and laundry tags that everybody's looking for. Signers are a mix of star veterans, rookies, and legends. And memorabilia will have the first game-used swatches from the 1920 rookie class. So if you want a game-sweated Zion relic, it's in this set.
But more than likely, you're going to get Romeo Langford.
Hey, that's fine. But no, so that's one I watch from afar because the card, like those diamond cards and stuff, are beautiful.
Oh, sure.
But even with the checklist, sometimes like 6 Gs for 10 cards. I know Andrew's probably gone through a couple cases already.
Oh, he did that. Yeah, I mean, he does that in his sleep. He lets little Haley do that. She's down there just, you know, drooling, and you know, she's got him in her McDonald's, Happy Meal box. Like, you know, it's whatever. Andrew Davis out of 10, who cares, man?
There's no difference to her between that and a Mandalorian card, so
whatever. You know?
Great series. I need people to talk with. If you've seen the last season, come talk to me.
I haven't watched any of it yet.
We just watched season 2, episode 1 and 2, so we got 6 more, and then I can call you.
That final episode, though. Oh boy.
I need to get to a spot where I can sit down and enjoy it on my 65 and relax. But everybody's always on it, or I'm too tired at the end of the night to do it, and I don't want to fall asleep watching it. So, yeah. We also have 2020 Panini Obsidian football dropping today, $375 a box, 1 pack per box, 7 cards per pack, 4 autographs and/or mem cards, 2 parallel or insert cards, and 1 base card. The 240 card base set. The rookie jersey autographs used oversized pieces and sometimes dual swatch relics of rookie jerseys. And there's also obviously their autographs of the rookie players. Aurora autos, Lightning Strike, and Matrix material autos are in the product. These feature the veterans and players from the past. And then the volcanic materials and rookie eruptions both have jumbo swatches. There's also Galaxy gear that has memorabilia from veteran players. Some cool inserts they have right there, Steph, is that Supernova is coming back, and it's a die cut with like exploding colors behind it, kind of like an orb.
Tie-dye.
A tie-dye orb.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they brought back their Color Blast is making their debut in this set and offers a take on the original Color Blast. They traditionally have a white background. This one is black. And OMG. Real quick, it looks like Patrick Mahomes in this picture is farting a rainbow. That's what it looks like. It looks like he's. I love the card. Don't get me wrong, but if you look at it real quick, it looks like he just farted a rainbow. Like he ate a unicorn and then he farted, and that's what it would look like. So, yeah. Anyway, those are gorgeous cards, and especially black cards always look good. The problem is chipping and edges and all that fun stuff. But again, just a gorgeous card. Andrew, is this on the list of products you're breaking?
Yeah, we got like a third case of it, like 4 boxes. I really love that black color blast. I mean, the color blasts are always beautiful cards, but anything black just to me is just different. And Obsidian is a beautiful set in and of itself. So
I think it's one of the better ones. Yeah, I think it's one of the better ones that they've brought out as a standalone product, in the way that it looks. So yeah, because they're able to do so much with the dark colored cards, and it just has a little better pop, I believe. And they use more etching and stuff, so it just gives it a little standout.
No, and then, that's special.
Oh, the heart.
Jordan Love.
Well, I mean, with Stefan Whataburger, you draw hamburger at the end of your name, right? 2020 Bowman's Best drops today, $207 a box. It's 2 mini boxes inside a regular box, 6 packs per mini, 5 cards per pack. You're going to get 4 autos, 4 2000 Bowman's Best franchise favorites, 3 franchise 2020 die cuts, 2 power producers, 1 atomic refractor, and 12 refractors. And it's a 70-card base set with a mix of veterans and rookies, and then there's also a 30-card subset of the top prospects. It's a chrome set, obviously. Rather than basic photos in the backgrounds, it takes more of a top's finest approach with some design elements in the back. The best of 2020 autographs are the main auto insert. They also have dual autograph signatures from a pair of players. Base versions are numbered 25. The franchise die cuts are based on the 2000 Bowman insert. Decade's best is the 2012 Bowman International Parallels. And then the Bowman's best franchise favorites are from 2000. So they go back, to the beginning of the millennium to celebrate those. So, and the power producers look on the rookie seasons of veteran and retired players. So it's kind of like a flashback of those players' careers. Make sure you check out Ryan Cracknell's articles on Beckett.com/news for more detail on these releases. And we're actually going to have. What's up?
Nothing.
We're going to have Ryan Cracknell's going to come on the show. Let's see. He'll be on January 20th to hang out with us on the show. So we got that confirmed. And we have a bunch of more guests coming up as well to end up the year and to bring in the new year as well.
So you know who else, and I'll let Bayside intro this, because I think he's the one that made the comparison. Was it?
Was it me? I don't think so.
No. Sorry, it was Ben.
Hey, was it?
Yes. Could have stopped me at any point. I was distracted by the fact that Shep had a blue shirt on today.
I'm wearing a blue A's hat or blue A's t-shirt. It's the end of the year, guys.
Ben kind of teased the fact that someone looks identical to someone else.
Something popped up on my timeline. I don't even think I'm following the guy, but so a couple months back, I found out the Franklin Caramels existed, and I got the McGuire and a Philly uniform, and Philly A's, and then there was a Canseco and a Henderson, and this popped up. This is literally the only second time I've ever even seen the Franklin Caramels, and somebody's like, "Hey, help me find this Chris Sabo," and I found one guy who had 4 of them on Sport Lots, but then as I was looking at it, I was like, "That guy looks like our buddy, Mr. Wasika."
Yeah,
I was like. And I thought maybe it was just me. Maybe I'm seeing things.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, it's his XRC.
That's pretty close. I wonder if the Kings are going to pull it out tonight here. They just Halliburton just missed a wide open.
I don't know.
Shot,
they got tied. Denver's going to have a last shot. I mean,
real quick, I just noticed that Denver used to play at the Pepsi Arena, and now they play at the Ball Arena. like ball is in like the canning jars.
It wasn't any worse than when the Cleveland Cavaliers had the owner with the last name Gund, Gund. If your last name is Gund,
Fuck him too.
Call it Gund Stadium or something. Don't call it Gund Arena.
Fuck him.
That's just
Stuff. Yeah, brings back bad memories of the North Stars.
I was
What's
just saying,
great-
listen, I was just commenting on the name of the stadium. That was all.
What's brewing next week's releases? 2020 Topps Transcendent Collection comes out on Tuesday the 29th, so by the skin of its teeth, and we're going to be opening 10, 12 cases here live on the show. 2020 Topps Heritage High Number as well sneaks in on Wednesday next week, and I have a couple of those boxes coming, so hopefully I'll get them in time to open them pre-show.
Only a few boxes?
Yeah, I have like 3 boxes coming in.
Are you going to be able to put together team sets for those that need team sets?
Probably. We'll see, because I'm going to try to... Oh, yeah, I forgot Mark Jones is doing the game for the Kings now, because what's his name got fired? Yeah, there you go, Mark. No, I'm going to try to. So sorry I got distracted with the game on. Infield Chatter, a hobby talk section of the show. Final Project 2020 release happened today. Our buddy CRT_sports cards, Chris Torres, tweeted out, happy final Topps Project 20 release day. We have made it to the end. For everyone who's made it this far, stand up and give yourself a round of applause. Our memories of this set will always be strong, and now the real fun begins. How will the history remember this set? We had 3 cards released today. Card 398, Ricky Henderson, made by Don C. 399, Mike Trout by King Saladin. And then card 400 was Mike Trout, Mr. Cartoon. We're going to have Chris on to rehash all of Project 2020 on January 13th. So in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. Yeah. He'll be on the 13th to hang out with us and dig in deep on Project 2020. Keith Shore, I just want to say, he released a card yesterday, and it's Nolan Ryan. But does it count as a 21st card for everyone else in the set? Because all the other players' heads appear in the back of the card.
It's an amazing card. I like it a lot.
And by the way, is that top one with the green hat that's facing the way... is that McGuire?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, forgive me if I'm wrong, but this, according to Keith Shore on Facebook, he was under the impression it was going to be released today, not yesterday. That, because of we've seen him now, that should have been card 400. That should have been Take a Bow Project 2020. You know, it's a Nolan Ryan card, but it features all 20 faces. The only card to feature all 20 players at once. That literally should have been card number 400.
And by the way, did you notice the 2020 on his shoulder?
Yeah, it's a brilliant card. It really is. I saw it and I was like, I told my dad who's sitting next to me, I was like, I should buy this. And I clicked off of Topps, walked away, got a cup of coffee, came back, and opened up Topps again and bought one.
Yeah, it's a good looking card.
It's one of the best ones because it speaks to the fact that, you know, Keith Shore was the Don Mattingly, his first release of the set, took so much crap. Obviously, the Griffey Shore. It just, to me, it symbolizes
the Harper Trout card where Harper's giving Trout a haircut.
This symbolizes the shit show that was Project 2020, the disaster that it was.
So, no, I thought it was pretty interesting. And by the way, I have a question. So Sophia Chang yesterday, or 2 days ago, 3 days ago, released her Ken Griffey. And you talked about how people put elements on the card behind them. And it says, like, you know, it's Ken, it says the kid, Swingman, as George Kenneth Griffey Jr., 1989, father and son, Hall of Famer Jr., all this. But it has the number 44. What does that represent?
So when it got released, a lot of people said she made a mistake in a Facebook group for Project 2020. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's an error. I'm going to go grab it because it should be 24. And somebody hopped in and said, no, that's how many ballparks Griffey homered in. And it kind of got buried in the feed. And then Sophia Chang herself was part of the group, and she hopped on a little later and said that's exactly what it is. So she herself in that Facebook group confirmed the 44 represented the ballparks, not an error, but interesting nonetheless, and from the mouth of the artist herself, which was a great way to kind of walk it off like, hey, guys, I'm not not familiar with Griffey. It was,
Yeah.
to honor him. And she was the one artist that, although I wasn't a big fan of most of her releases, she did incorporate quite a bit of player-specific items in, as you can see if you're watching, all of the different, nicknames and the year he rookied, and you got the kid, you got Junior. I mean, not my cup of tea from an artistic standpoint, but kudos to her for fitting some of that stuff in, father and son. And she did that with all of the players in her run.
Yeah. No, so I just thought it was interesting. I saw that 3B had some damaged corners. So this next topic might hurt him. Ding, 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 ding. Again, our buddy at Run Good Life, James Good, tweeted out, "Hey, at Panini America, Panini CSM, were half of the base cards in our hobby box supposed to have dinged corners or not? 100 people in my live stream says, nah. What do you think?" He opened up a 2020 Prism hobby box, a $1,000 box of football cards. And, a good majority of the base had been just smashed in the corner. And this is like the second box that at least we've seen that's had this issue. And it's probably just a pack out issue. But again, it's just a disappointment. It's another thing with Topps and Panini this year. I understand with the pack out and the print issues and everything, it's just been amplified. But when you spend $1,000 on a box and that's what you get,
it's just the organic die cut parallel is all.
Yeah, organic die. I like that.
And I think it's just the printers themselves, because I'd opened some Series 1 Upper Deck Hockey recently, and while it wasn't a ding per se, so the card is still at least intact. Pulling up the picture. They all, the non-rookies, non-inserts, all had this kind of weird indentation on the sides.
That's strange.
And then on both sides.
Now, what if it only had on one side too? So would that be a parallel for you to collect stuff?
Well, I mean, if there's a left ding and a right ding, of course.
When you're like editing audio together on a program and they've got all the different lines, I mean, that's kind of what it looks like there. That's all it is. It's the audio editing parallel.
Well, and like I said, thankfully it didn't affect any of the Young Guns or any of the inserts. Those were not in that slot. And mine's in semi-pristine condition.
Wouldn't have mattered. They still would have been PSA 11s.
Well, of course. That's why it's going to PSA, of course.
That's right.
Maybe easier to show that
PSA 11, GMA 15.
But I've also seen some where the backs are slightly curled in, just in products this year. So between Panini and Upper Deck and Topps.
It's been an interesting year.
Indeed.
So, I'm ready for proofread. So at J Hook on Twitter, and Hook is with some zeros. After taking 5 months, when it was stated 3 to 4 on the Topps website, they still weren't able to get 30 cards done correctly. Alec Baum is now Alex Baum, and Josh Young on the Rangers is actually a Texas Ranger Pirate.
Now, I got to ask, was he traded to the Pirates or from said Pirates?
No, he was drafted by the Rangers. He's still in their minor league system. And these are from the Bowman prospect, Bowman Next, the prospect cards that they released. Yeah.
Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, because I might have missaw something while I was, just scrolling. But didn't Josh Jung himself respond and say he was interested in buying it? I thought I saw that, or maybe it's just a Jung collector, possibly.
It was a young collector. I think that reached out to.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So, no, but I'm just like,
there you go.
Come on, man. It's only like a 30 card set. You can't make sure all 30 cards are correct.
We should just have a segment called "How Did Topps F Up This Week," and then we could just talk about whatever it is this week. Whether it be hairs, upside down cards in Project 2020, or quality control issues, or dinged corners, or
they actually got. We got to be honest here. They actually got better with Project 2020 at the end. I have not seen the stuff I saw before with like papers left in the cards, and then like the one touch insert in there. cards upside down, no stickers. By the way, I learned how to take the stickers off, and I've bought 130 Ultra Pro Mag Touches to put black ones to put them my George Brett's in.
Those black ones look amazing.
Yeah. So,
and for what it's worth, that actually is his pro account, despite the missing check mark.
So it is. So yeah, I thought I had saw that he was same real guy because I thought I clicked over it, but then I might have just been imagining things. It's been a hectic month, but yeah, it's incredible for people that want one touches. I mean, right now the LCS is selling them for $4, and a couple weeks ago at the card show, you get Project 2020 cards all day long for $5 each. Like literally, Chris Harris is it's stale gum. His prognostication came true. These are dollar box cards because you can look at it like that, right? $4 for the one touch and $1 for the card.
Now, a question for you, Ben, because you talked about binarying your set or displaying your Maguire set. Would you go back and rebuy all 20 Maguires for $5 a piece, keep one sealed, and then have one unsealed?
That would bother me, but yes.
Yeah, I probably would. Probably
I think you get really close.
Because I mean, having one sealed that where you could display it, and then having one in a binder to go with the Maguires, open up a Maguire binder, and there they are laying out all 20 of them. But then the problem too, and part of the reason I have decided probably not to open them up at this time, has nothing to do with retained value, but has everything to do with the fact that there are 20. Mm-hmm. So what do you do? I mean, you could buy 7 more. I bought the Shore Nolan Ryan. I bought the Shore Griffey and the Vitus Nolan Ryan. So I do have 3 additional cards, but now I'd have to go out and buy 4 more just to, because otherwise it's going to look stupid. Normally I wouldn't care if it was any other. This just kind of, I don't know, more artistic, having full pages. So then there's the other thing too, is maybe binder 18 of them and keep 2 of them sealed, but then it's which 2, Jameson and which one? That's stupid too, because then it's not a set. So yeah, it's I don't know.
Put 4 on 5 pages, or 5 on 4 pages, make an X.
That's so in one of those standard size sheets where it has the 4 pocket, just 5 page over.
Well, and the problem with the Maguire, and I don't know how many of those we saw that in, is there are at least one Mr. Cartoons is horizontal. And it's one of the best looking cards, in my opinion, of the entire Project 2020. It's the yellow one that has the green Oakland. I mean, it's a gorgeous card, but it just misses. It's like all of Old Man Allen's entire run, right? Great looking cards for the most part. Almost all of them are phenomenal. The Ricky Henderson this week was great. His Ichiro was phenomenal, but they just don't speak to anything at all about the card outside of the fact it's the player. Yeah, and I know we'll get more into that in a couple weeks when we have Chris Torres on, but it's very difficult and frustrating as a collector is how to display these appropriately to where you're not taking up a crap ton of space in your home. Especially for me, because I collected the print runs of both Maguire and then with an assist from my dad, the Ricky Hendersons. What am I going to do with 40 of these things?
We had the NBA season tip-off last night, and as we're currently speaking, the Kings are trying to win a game against the Nuggets.
Well, it depends whether which team you're playing for, because hasn't there been several suspended already?
The Rockets got suspended.
Rockets.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I love it, the fact, and I've never been a James Harden fan, that he's such a superstar and nobody wants to trade for him. I think it's great. I think it's hilarious because I think
I think they're having a hard time too because they got to get $33 million to trade back, and it's like if you're the Rockets, what team is going to offer you $33 million worth of anything that's decent?
Yeah.
Well, and
at the same time, I like it because like they're like, we want your youngest, greatest players, and then we'll take some old crappy, guy that's making a ton of money. It's not the best anymore, but I just feel like Harden, he's all about himself. I think it's just like whatever he can put on the stat sheet's good, and then after that, it's like, okay, well, if we win, we win. That's how I feel like I'm watching play.
Toronto's going to have to start with Siakam, and then the Celtics are going to have to start with Jaylen Brown, who they did not want to move for Kawhi Leonard a couple of years ago. So let's go ahead and move him for an older, more expensive, less accomplished James Harden. Otherwise, Leonard would have been traded to Boston had they included Jaylen Brown. Karis LeVert in Brooklyn, but he plays so well as a number 3 outside of Kyrie and Kevin and Durant, although we've only seen it for one game. But, it's like Ben Simmons in Philadelphia. I'm sorry, but if I'm the GM on the other side of the table and those are my options, I'm keeping all of those guys as opposed to trading for Harden, this prima donna who's ball-centric. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not giving you Jaylen Brown and first-round picks. I'm giving you Simmons and first-round picks. I'll keep the guy I got on my team, and you guys can toil in misery together. And you guys got married. You can go to couples counseling, and see you guys. We'll see you as a.
By the way, he also looks like a guy you see on the court, like on the local rec court, because he looked a little thick.
Yeah. He got a little
chubby. He had the quarantine 20 on.
He had the 7th and 8th at Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah.
I just want to know, guys, are there any rookies that we all know about Steph's buddy up there, Anthony Edwards from ER. Weissman had a pretty good debut last night for the Warriors. A lot of people are excited about LaMelo Ball. But are there any – oh, yes, they won on a tip-in. Are there any rookies that you guys are excited about for this upcoming season?
So second coming of Jesus.
He's not a rookie.
2009.
Why can't you? It was a decade ago.
That's a glorious picture, though.
It really is.
Cannot pay attention. No. So who are we excited about? I'm excited about Tyrese Halliburton.
I am too. Devin Vassell got selected right before him, so I'm interested to see how Halliburton, who I thought was perfect for the Spurs, kind of does. And of course, he's local here, so
yeah. I don't know. I'm excited.
I'm really looking forward to seeing Denny down in Washington. I felt like they got a steal with him at number 9. Yeah, he shouldn't have been number 9. And you pair him, I think, with Rui. I think Rui and Denny are going to be a nice 1-2 punch for a few years. But that's
I was really hoping the Kings could get momentum to trade up because they weren't too far away at 12 to get him. But I knew I heard everybody saying Washington loved that guy, and it just seemed like dumb because he kept falling. And I'm like, I've seen this guy play versus some of these other guys. And I was like Chicago took the kid out of Florida State, and I was like, okay. And a lot of people were like, yeah, and then Halliburton was supposed to be a top 6, 7, 8 pick, and he comes to 12, and I'm like, that never happens where the Wizards and the Kings both get guys that kind of fall to them on accident, and it being a good thing. And the Kings won in overtime.
They did.
What about since you want current year? Fine. You just said rookie class.
I said, what rookie are you excited to shine this year?
We're not going back to the 60s because
I think Bob McAdoo and Jerry West could be phenomenal players.
That Walter Johnson kid is going to be good someday. If Babe Ruth ever becomes a corner outfielder, Walter Johnson has a chance to be the best pitcher in the league.
But no, what about Obi-Wan?
He's on the Knicks. He's on the Knicks.
For now.
Yeah, because they'll get tired of him. You know what the Knicks are? They're the kid that picks up the latest NBA 2K and does a franchise, right? And they get bored with a guy 6 games in, and they trade him just because. And then they just go, I'll trade him for some names. Hey, is Steve Francis still around? Okay. Yeah. I think a perfect match would be Harden to the Knicks and just let him go sit there. Just let him play. Let him score it up and be like Carmelo Anthony all over again. Are there any breakout guys you're looking forward to that okay, here you go, Steph. These are guys that are not rookies. That maybe haven't broken through yet. Rubio's only in his 11th season, so maybe he can finally break out after being in Minnesota for the second time. That you're excited to see?
No, it's kind of a down draft, and I just want to see the Timberwolves actually make the playoffs this year
They'll
as a
hold your
collective unit.
We can cut and paste that comment for the next decade.
10 years. Yeah. Ben or Andrew, do you guys have anybody you're excited to or think that can pop?
You know who's going to be interesting to watch? I was reading an article on The Athletic today about the good, the bad, and the ugly contracts that were just signed for the extensions. And a name that popped out was Markelle Fultz, right? Because he was a number 1 overall pick, and he got traded going into year 2. He kind of, lost his shot and his confidence. But now he's in Orlando. They really don't have any stars, right? You got Jonathan Isaacs. You have a couple of people that potentially, but he's still only 22. They signed him to a 3-year, $50 million contract extension. I believe they can get out of that third year like a $2 million buyout if they want, but he's still young. I mean, in a traditional 4-year college, this would be his rookie year. He still has a lot of potential, so it'll be kind of interesting to see if he ever fulfills that whatsoever. Being a number 1 overall pick, probably not. But then again, Anthony Bennett was a number 1 overall pick, so the bar's already been set really low. He and Olowokandi and Joe Smith and a lot of guys have come before him at number 1 that either didn't pan out or had mediocre careers, like Smith, for instance.
Yeah, I like it. Andrew, do you have somebody in mind?
Yeah, I'm going to look. I'm actually curious to see what Lonzo's going to do this year, especially with his younger brother now in the league. There's going to be that comparison, maybe a little sibling rivalry. And, I think they also, New Orleans drafted a nice, good backup point guard in Kira Lewis Jr. So I'm wondering if he's going to feel a little bit more pressure on him now that he's got a backup that's waiting in the wings. And, you got a full season now with Zion. There's not much you can say or not much you can blame it on if stuff doesn't go your way. So,
and he did not get the contract extension, so he'll be an under 25 free agent next year.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this team real quick. They have Lonzo Ball, Eric Bledsoe, Ingram, Zion, and Steven Adams as their starting 5, with Jackson Hayes, Josh Hart, J.J. Redick, and Kira Lewis Jr. coming off the bench. That's not bad 10 guys right there. It could be kind of exciting. I'm excited to see Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and playing in New Orleans, or I'm sorry, in Oklahoma City, because again they have so many draft assets coming up. They've traded away all the veterans, all the big names. He's him and Darius Baisley. It looks like they're going to be their go-to guys. I mean, they have Al Horford as a big name, but he's getting up there in some age. But I think that he has a really big opportunity to show off and what he can do. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see. Who's playing in the finals for you guys? We'll let Andrew kick it off. And you get to pick one team from the East, and you get to pick one team from the West.
Is that how it works? I didn't know.
Ben followed the rules this time. Steph puts like 6 teams.
I thought
some of them aren't. One of them was an ABA team.
Yeah, that's okay, because when you asked about rookie classes, he was going back to like pre-war and yeah, I mean,
I want to. This is kind of a not who do I think it is, but kind of who do I hope it is too. I think it's going to be the Clippers and the Bucks, 2 teams that really haven't had a chance. They're right there at the end, and I think with Giannis's new Supermax and Drew Holiday, that's a nice punch, nice 1-2 out there. So, and then the Clippers, I don't know.
You don't think they're going to clipper it up?
Like I said, I think this is who I hope is going to be there, not who I think is going to be there.
I just hope it's not the Lakers.
That's basically what I'm trying to say.
Anybody but the Lakers, like I'd be fine with. Steph, who are the 7 teams that you picked to be in the finals this year?
So first of all, I picked 4. Get it correct. I said Milwaukee and/or Boston. Bucks are an easy pick. Kevin was high on Boston, so I threw them in as well. I like the Lakers for obvious reasons. You can't bet against LeBron at least making the finals. And
Yeah.
so be it.
Steph or Ben, who are you going with?
So I went with the Bucks and Lakers, which is probably a cop out. Putting the Patriots in there for 15 years was easy. But if Durant and Kyrie both stay healthy, the Nets probably at least you're looking at Nets Bucks, championship series in the East.
Kyrie's gonna have one of his little episodes where he's gonna sit out and pout and do his weird thing, and
That's why I didn't choose the Nets. But if they can stay healthy, and that's a big asterisk, that the Nets are going to be tough, and they've got enough assets where they could theoretically go out and trade for somebody, not James Harden, to complement the two of them and LeVert. They can.
You watch out for Joe Harris this year, by the way.
And Harris is another
shoot the basketball.
Yeah, they've got a lot of good talent there. So it comes down to their two big ones.
Mine Dallas, my other choice with Luka.
He's named half the league.
Sure. Look, it's 4.
I deleted it because I said pick one. Boston. I have Boston over Denver, and the reason I picked the Celtics is just because I think the Bucks have a really good chance. I just wanted to be a little different.
Denver lost to the Kings tonight in overtime.
I know. That's how good the Kings are going to be.
How is that credible?
I don't know.
They haven't made the playoffs since
now the Kings will lose
rookie class.
Hey, now the Kings will lose 12 in a row, and Luke Walton's going to be out on Auburn Boulevard down the street from my house, looking for money. So
what was that Simmons and Walt Williams or the Kings when they had 4 first-round picks, Dwayne Caldwell and
1990. Lionel Simmons, Travis Mays, Anthony Bonner, and Dwayne Caldwell. 1990.
That's Stefan's underrated rookie class right there.
Yeah.
Nope.
And Bimbo Coles in the second round.
And may he rest in peace, Wayman Tisdale, one hell of a jazz artist.
So no, I'm excited for basketball to come back. We're playing 72 games. We're gonna have some kind of a tournament playing thing. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see. At least the NBA is trying something.
I'm ready for hockey to be to return. They just announced their schedule this week.
Yep.
Hockey.
Between that thing you guys need to learn about.
It's awesome. I love the schedule. It's gonna be exciting.
Is that what comes on between World Series of Poker and late night PBA bowling?
No, they're only on NBC Sports, so it's between Monster Jam and car auctions.
Or CNBC or some obscure channel.
NBC.
By the way, did you see that the NFL is, or who was it? I think it was the NFL game was going to be on Freedom or Freeform.
What is that like the Oprah Winfrey Network or something?
There's a football game this Saturday on Amazon and Twitch.
Yeah, right. And then they're going to have one on Freeform, which is going to have a different set of broadcasters.
Interesting.
Hey, remember when the WNBA came around and they were on Lifetime, and it was just like, sure. Their first year. It's something different, and if it gets to a new audience, not to say that,
baby.
The NFL is different, right? It's not like you're. I can appreciate leagues trying to bring in different consumers, different audiences, and trying to expand their brand. So hey, more power to them if they can get on a channel that people typically. But the hard thing is if you can't find them, right? If you don't know where to look for them, do people get bored? If I've got to go search it out, I know that this is, the NBA is going to be on TNT and ESPN and maybe Fox and
you switch over to Xfinity and they have this cool little button. And I had DirecTV for like almost 20 years. You have this little button here and you just push it and you say like, rah, Paw Patrol, because that's all the remote ever hears at my house now.
Hold it up to your screen so I can ask it something real quick.
No.
How come Stefan couldn't just?
Right. So. No, yeah, you can holler into it and do sports, and that's pretty cool. We were going to talk about this last week.
Pause it. To Ben's point, WNBA. and hockey.
Yeah.
NBA CSN is broadcasting the NWHL's championship game from Lake Placid at the 1980 Olympic site for the first time on a major network.
That's cool.
So
Good
if
for
you
them.
want hockey and you want to watch some ladies win a championship, check out NBCSN.
This is a fun side project. We were going to talk about last week. We just don't have enough time. At Cheap Sports Car One on Twitter, he tweeted out my latest sports lots haul, crossing off more cards off the junk racks rookie list. Really enjoying this project. So I reached out to Joel last week and I said, "Hey, Joel, what are you doing? I want to talk about this on the podcast because I'm very intrigued." You see like a Bowman Tim Salmon, like 1990 Bowman Tim Salmon, 90 score, Sammy Sosa, 88 rookies, the rookies at Roberto Alomar. There's a Jason Kendall Pinnacle rookie, some 91 scored Chipper Jones and Mussina rookies. I mean, there's some really cool cards on there. There's a Kenny Lofton when he was on the Astros. I said, Joel, what are you doing? Is essentially he went through every set from 86 through 93, and he created a master checklist of every notable XRC and RC and rookie subset card, things like rated rookie or Topps rookie cup card. And his ultimate goal is to binder them up and have a full collection of junk wax rookies together. And he sent over some pictures in his checklist. So some of the other things on there, I'm pulling this up here. But, Sandy Alomar, these are some of the rookies he has. Sandy Alomar, this looks like his catcher's list. Darren Dalton, Charles Johnson, Jason Kendall, Javi Lopez, Piazza, Ivan Rodriguez, Benito Santiago. And so that's pretty cool. And then he's got some pictures of the cards as well that, and I don't think that's the right link. No, I messed up, but he put together, we'll share the pictures out later, but he's working on that. And I just thought that was a really cool side project because when a time when box prices and packs and singles are insane for the guys that grew up, in the 80s and 90s collecting, these rookies were hot and sought after. Now you could have them for pennies on the dollar, which you could then, and go back and have a cool binder to flip through and have some childhood memories pop up. So yeah, that's pretty neat.
As a one-off, our buddy the Kayak collector had tweeted out earlier this week. Basically, I think he sold something on Sport Lots, like 13 of the same card, and some of us like to collect the same card over and over again for no apparent reason. But, he had asked that question, why would somebody buy 13 of the same card? And, there's obviously a lot of reasons, but as a one-off to this particular project, some of these cards were not as readily available or were more expensive as we were growing up, right? Say the 89 Donruss Griffey, and it's probably not super affordable. I don't know what it goes for these days, but even a couple of bucks each if you wanted to super collect just that one card. But it's kind of fun, at least for me. I find a lot of enjoyment in collecting the same card over and over again from an era in which I really appreciated baseball in a different light. And I know, Andrew, I know you collect a lot of multiples of certain Will Clarks, including the 87 Topps. And there's a different reason for each of us. But a project like this kind of gives you an idea if you wanted to go super collect catchers who were once hot rookies from the junk wax era.
Injuries, Sandy Alomar could have been a Hall of Famer, but he just got beat up. It was too beat up.
Kind of cool. I always say Ryan Cracknell does our homework for us when he puts together team sets for new releases. I mean, this guy put together your junk wax era, homework of, hey, go super collect your favorite first baseman from the Bay Area of that era, or your favorite catcher, BJ Surhoff and Benito Santiago and Sandy Alomar.
Yeah. No, I think Roberto Alomar would be like my one, like if I was going to go back and pick like one junk wax era PC guy, it might be Roberto Alomar, just because I got to see him and Sandy play in Wichita back in the late 80s, 87, 86, 87. I think they were in there playing double-A ball.
$10 would get you quite a bit of his stuff too, I bet.
Yeah.
Non-twin, I'd probably go with the Indians. Tomei Vizquel.
No, Vizquel came up as a Mariner, though.
Well, sure, but it played a good chunk through the '90s against the Indians, and he was always making ESPN top 10 play for some crow hop or nice dive stab toss,
or smacking around his wife, or whatever. So,
as opposed to spitting on an umpire.
Oh, now it's on, and I guess that means I get Albert. Don't call me Joey Bell.
no, you get Addison Russell.
That's
Michael Choice.
So more eBay shenanigans. My buddy, I don't know if he's your buddy, but at _Mike or Mike _McKenna, who collects a lot of cool stuff. And I made some deals with him with some trouts, and it's always fun to see what he's picking up. Not what I wanted to wake up to this morning. And so he tweets out a note he received from eBay. Hello, you bought Luka Doncic card from me. I'm going to delete the card off eBay and then ship it to you. So don't get worried if you see it deleted. It's still good in condition. Nothing happened to it. I'm just going to take it off so then I can ship it to you. It was an update. It was an 1819 Donruss rated rookie. There's an update. He received a fake tracking number, and the seller had a whopping feedback score of 0. So awesome. Like this BS is happening more and more. Like last week when we talked about the guy that was, hey, this card didn't sell for as much as I need, so can you send me some more money? That's not how
Andrew,
it works. That's how it works, bro.
Andrew, can you explain what new hobby scam you think you are seeing, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, so actually, I've had two that happened to me. I think I shared with you. So the one that happened to me on both accounts, I had one on my breaking, one for my personal. The breaking one, I had a shill account and a real account, and the shill account would bid to the real account would bid at like $26, just enough to take the lead on the auction. Then they'd have the shill account bid to $600, then the real account would bid to 601 or something. So it showed the winning bid being at 601. Then 2 seconds before the auction would end, you'd have a reverse snipe, essentially, where the shill account would retract their bid. So then the winning bid would be $26, and that was what it would sell for. And I wouldn't have even caught that, except some guy told me, he's like, hey, I wanted to bid $60. Why is it selling for 26? I went back and looked and saw what happened. And I was like, all right, this is I'm pretty sure this is a scam. I can't prove it, so what can I do? The guy who told me that he wanted to bid 60 on the team emails me or messages me like an hour later saying the exact same thing happened to me with the exact same team over at some other breaker site. So I contacted that breaker. He's like, yes, these are the exact same profiles that are doing the same thing. It happened to me. So we both canceled, blocked the guy. But it was like, man, like that's shady. And it's like, it's kind of like, I almost give the guy credit. Like I would have never even thought to do something like that. Like that was like, what? Like, how would you think to like bid it up and then retract the last bid to get what you want kind of thing? It was really messed up, but unfortunately, what can you do with these zero feedback accounts?
Yeah.
Was there another one as well?
Yeah. I mean, the other one was this card, the John Morant card that I was selling. It was like I had 5 different accounts that had zero feedback on it, all bidding like $1,000 on it, and it was like I canceled one because like this isn't a scam, or this is a scam, and literally 5 minutes later, another zero account would bid the exact same amount. I'm like, this is, I think it was 5 to 7 different profiles. Each of them was zero feedback, bidding the exact same amounts on this thing. I don't know if
bots, right?
I don't know if it was bots or if they were just doing it to up the sale price for their own card that they were trying to sell. To be like, oh, look, this one sold for this much. So, I got the exact same card. I want to sell it for this much. Here's the comp kind of thing. So, eventually I overtook them and I just kept deleting them and they stopped. So,
but that's why I got into it the other day on Twitter about comps when somebody tried to use my own words against me, and it's like comps are fluid, yes, but you have to understand how to analyze what a comp is, and one single comp is not necessarily speaking for it as that is the cost of it. Now you have to really understand how comps work, especially with low numbered cards. For comparative analytics. And if you don't, then, ask a friend and get some help. But when people are like, well, last one sold at this, so this one has to be worth the same. That's not quite how it works. It's close, but not really.
I had a buddy that was going through his cards, as everybody seems to have been doing the last 6-9 months. And he's like, hey, like, I saw, it was the 87 Topps traded Bo Jackson, I want to say. It was one of the cards from that traded set. And he said, hey, I saw it sell for like $626. And I'm like, dude, that's not right. Like, and so he sent me the link, and it did sell for that. And everything else is, selling for, not ungraded cards, like raw cards, a couple bucks here and there, right? It varied from like $2, to like $6. And some of them were like,
Great.
Right?
Sure.
But it brought up the thing, like, I started thinking, like, that is a super easy way to launder some money.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Hey,
was it a Probstein auction, though?
No. And anytime I see, those bastards. But no, like, you look through there, right, and it's like, to people that don't buy and sell cards all the time, it's like, oh, yeah, like, I didn't remember that card. That was a big-time card back in the day. It makes sense. It's Bo Jackson. And, no, like, that's a real easy way to send somebody some money that, like, I don't know. I think, there's nefarious ways to use all kinds of stuff on the internet.
Well, especially with PayPal not 1099ing you until you get over $20,000. It's like, you want to talk about a shady bookkeeper's wet dream. I mean, there's plenty of ways to manipulate the system and have multiple email addresses and, do a modern day Pablo Escobar, eBay, PayPal baseball card. I mean, it's as long as you show a bill of sale, can go a long way. And you definitely can. Anyway, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of shadiness going around, but to the point of comps, I had a discussion with a guy a while back over some Ricky Henderson stuff, and I think we mentioned it where he's trying to sell 11 cards for $15, and I'm like, dude, that's $2.50 worth of cards at most. And he's like, well, not according to eBay. And I'm like, you have to understand that eBay has minimums, and if 99 cents is the minimum allowed, just because that's what it's being listed as, and not everybody knows about sport lots, which is your preferred way to sell and buy junk wax. I'm sorry, but at 18 cents a piece, which is still high for a 1989 Topps Ricky Henderson, it just is. If you're buying it, it's nickel and dime box fodder. But people look at eBay and it's like, hey, if eBay is the way we go, then 99 cents is the comp, right? Well, not necessarily. You have to understand, again, how comps work and where they come from and assess them and analyze them independently and comparatively, based on what they are. ComC is another one because you can buy and sell differently because of their box options, but on buying a single card, ComC is extremely high for shipping if you're buying a single card. But if you're using it the way it's intended, where you're buying 50 at a time for one flat rate, then all of a sudden that shipping cost is fantastic.
Well, and of course, it's not just the shipping that's bundled in. It's the good chunk of it's the handling. But there's also something to be said, at least for eBay, for going through a reputable dealer such as this when making a purchase, a more expensive purchase. So I did my homework. Dude has 100% feedback, great reviews, nothing negative, zero whatnots, and he posted that for sale. Cheapest, and I literally did this last weekend. So for those not in the know, it's 1914, the set name B18 blankets. So playing days, Walter Johnson. The lowest I've ever seen was just over 300. I think 330. And dude had it posted 88 or best offer.
Nice.
And we've all paid a premium at Dean's cards just because you're buying Dean's reputation and expertise.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean he's not fault proof, but when you're buying a card sight unseen, I'd much rather buy from Dean than Joe Random. I'm buying at a premium for Dean's reputation.
Well, and that's it too. I mean, you see the person. Is there only one picture, or is there like 8 pictures, full scans, documented? Seems like they have 10, 20 of these. Then that's probably legit. But if it's just one guy with one copy of one thing that's semi-common with 30 reviews,
goes back to the point I made earlier this week. Never buy a Tiffany card ever if they don't post a picture of the bag.
And one thing I can say about like the zero feedback accounts, it's hard to get feedback when you first start, right? Even if you're trying to be a genuine buy and seller, right? And and I remember Doug from Mojo saying this years and years ago. The best way to do it is if you want to build up your thing, go out and buy 10, 15, 20 cards right away. Do it buy now, buy them instantly, pay instantly, and then send a note. Hey, listen, I'm new to eBay. I'm looking to build my feedback. I've sent the payment. I've given you good, I'll give you reciprocal feedback. Please help me build my account. And that way, at least when you go to buy or sell cards in the future and you're bidding on cards and you have a score of 20 or 18, at least people know, like, oh, okay, they've made some transactions. Some of the seller knows, hey, this person's made some transactions on this page, on this, this website. So, okay, they're probably legitimate, because you do get nervous as a seller when you have people that have under like a 10 feedback, bidding on something that's sometimes quite expensive, because it's like what's gonna happen here? What shenanigans am I gonna see?
There's an S ton right now of newer. I buy a lot, right? I mean, my feedback over the last 30 days on eBay is almost always at 100, give or take, and I've seen so many accounts at under 300 feedback over the last 6 months, and had more issues over the last 6 months. If you're honest and really trying to build it up, like Tim said, go out and buy a bunch of dollar cards that are going to come in PWEs, just stuff where you're not putting a lot of money out there, still building up your PC, but it allows an opportunity for
you're buying your reputation a little bit, but
it
helps.
You could drop $50 and probably get 20 or 25 feedback, depending on if sellers leave it for you as a buyer. But but then again, scammers could do that too, theoretically.
Yeah.
Well, so here's one for you. Based off the reviews, wrong button. Would you trust this person?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. Is it Probstein?
No.
Oh, it's me. Oh, there you go.
Phil Fools. 2 neutral, 1 negative. Do got a question on one of the guys' comments. My dial-up internet here will catch up.
Oh, he's got the internet I used to have.
So a problem with Phil Hughes, though, is you also open yourself up, because of who you are, to targeted harassment.
Sure.
Phil Hughes, pitched an 8-inning 1-hit game against my favorite team, 7 years ago. Screw that guy, or I just don't like the cut of his britches, and I could buy something for him. The transaction could go smooth, and you could still leave, neutral or negative just because of who he is, which is unfair. But
that's what I love about Sport Lots. You can't leave negative feedback unless you had an issue reported about that transaction. So,
and even then, most of the time, I'll leave positive feedback, because generally the seller takes care of it.
Yeah.
Give me a refund or whatever. And hey, something happens, crap happens. Most of that stuff's PWE. Stuff's gonna happen. I'm not there to make enemies. I'm just there to get a card. If the seller does right by me, I have no problem saying, hey, the transaction still went smoothly. It didn't happen exactly how I wanted, but
good, but took forever to ship and arrived sticky.
Steph is on Ricky Rubio's rookie year internet connection.
That's the review someone left for Phil.
Investing. This was one. This is 2019 investing. At Old Takes Exposed tweeted out. Michael Salfino, a sports fantasy writer for The Athletic, tweeted this out back in 2019. This is investing in cards. These were a total of $85. If Darnold is as good as I think he is, they'll be with 400 raw next year. If half grade is 10s, 1,500. And we would show the cards, but Steph is having some issues here. Let me see. If
They were Sam Darnold rookie cards.
They're pulled up.
True rookie cards.
There are Donruss rated rookies, and I think there's some are optic, maybe. Yeah. But, yeah, doesn't age well, right? I mean, I like Darnold. I think now with the Jets winning last week and blowing up the chances of getting Trevor Lawrence, that he'll be their quarterback next year. So
yeah, a new coach, new.
Adam Gase won't even be able to coach a JV football team or football team in the future. Maybe not even like Pee Wee.
But wait, he's the quarterback whisperer. He was so great with Jay Cutler, and he wasn't good. Yeah.
This is awesome. Our buddy Bo at 1 million comes tweet out, will Jason Dominguez be the next Kevin Matane? A 2017 Bowman Chrome Auto of Kevin Matane of at the time Atlanta Braves, who's now in the Angels organization because of some shenanigans that they pulled. One sold on April 28th of 2017, sold for $128.09. The most recent sale of the same autograph sold for $16.49. So difference of like $12. Mm-hmm. He's the number 23 prospect, not overall, in the Angels organization as of last year. So the Angels, who don't have a very deep farm system, he was the 23rd best prospect. This is why prospecting is hard, because I can tell you too, people weren't on Pete Alonso until he came up.
Sure.
And then he kind of had an off year this last year.
Yeah, we could make a laundry list of players on both sides of that ledger.
Oh yeah, and I just wanted to put this out here in the whole investing thing, and it's like basketball and football are way different because you usually get a pretty instant impact with the guy. But baseball is a whole different animal. So
look up prospecting. Just your favorite, baseball teams' organizational prospects, and there's a lot of websites that have ETAs on when this guy is estimated to make his major league debut. And we're here in the year 20, and I was looking up the A's the other day, and the website I was looking at had 24, 25 next to some of these guys' names, and it's like, man, do you know? You could get a college education in the amount of time. You can get your bachelor's degree from scratch in the amount of time that XYZ player goes from being the number 3 prospect in an organization to, you're starting whatever position at the major league level. It's like, do you know how much can happen between then?
Or they could bring in other guys, and you got to think every year they're replenishing through the draft. And
I mean, the A's had so many second basemen on their roster last year, from former number 1 overall prospect Jerkson Profar, who they traded, to Franklin Barreto, who was the prize of the Josh Donaldson trade, to Tony Kemp, a journeyman, to Chad Pinder, who can never get a job every day with the A's, to Machine, who they got in the Rule 5 draft. And then they had Sheldon Neuse, who was probably potentially outside of Pinder, maybe the best of the group. But you know why Neuse doesn't get to make the club? Because he had minor league options. And that's the only reason. The other guys had to trade Profar. They had, Jorge Mateo had to get dealt because they were out of options. Barreto got dealt because he was out of options. And it's just like, now it's a numbers game. It has nothing to do with talent. So yeah, who the hell knows what's going to happen with Dominguez, but he's just a kid.
Yeah,
best case scenario, we see him in 23 or 24. Come on. And you're shelling out established player money right now. And then when we adjust for inflation, your dollar probably stretches even less, so you're paying. Merry Christmas.
So I just have a question for you guys. Now, last night I was kind of going through my basketball rookie box because I was sending my buddy some pictures of ones I had. And it got me to thinking today, why not, since basketball season's tipping off, and I look through and I have 10 Shea Alexander rookie cards. Why don't I just keep 2 and sell the others? I have all these Darius Baisleys, all these guys and only so many guys are going to be really great from a draft class, right? Now you could have And early on, everybody has their favorites because they haven't established themselves yet. But 2-3 years down the road, guys start to kind of fall away, and then one or two guys stands out from that draft class. Like, you say, hey, like, I mean, who was awesome in the 2010 draft class? And it's like, okay, well, this is the one guy that stands out, right? This is one other guy that stands out. And it got me thinking, and taking that money and reallocating it to building out the rest of my George Brett collection, or to work on my 70s Topps sets. Like if I could sell, those Shea Alexander cards for like, $25 or $30 or whatever they're going for, and I sell 5 of them, and then I have like $100 in my pocket, that goes a long way to building out PC stuff, right? Am I wrong in that? Is that something I should evaluate in the next 7 to 10 days as the new year rolls around?
No, that's not wrong.
No, it kind of depends on what your PC is, and how you rank your PCs. At the end of the day, if your number one is George Brett, then if you got to sell a little bit of PC number 3 to stock up on number 1, then that's really what your goal should be.
Yeah, and the main reason I have these cards is that it's kind of like a little bit of speculation, and it's like, okay, kind of fun to play that game. Like, hey, I liked this guy before he was cool. I got this guy for $5. Like I was going through and I found 4 or 5 BAM rookie cards, and I bought for $7. Or I think it was a 4-card lot for $7 shipped. And those are like $35 cards now. And it's like, well, I can sell 3 cards and be happy because I still have 1 and it's $100, and I spent $7. So I came up $93 and a card. That kind of is in my head, and it's like, I think that's something, and it's not like I couldn't go back and rebuy 1 or 2 later down the road as the guy falls off, as he becomes less popular.
So I was listening to Jim Beckett and Rich Klein talk on Dr. Beckett's podcast last week, and they actually mentioned my Maguire Super Collection. And Rich, of course, brought up his point about why not just keep a couple and sell them all, right? And it's because of the emotional attachment to those particular ones. So in your case, Tim, I don't think you have an emotional attachment to any of these groups of stacks of rookie cards. It's not like you're selling, like Andrew said, a main PC. You're just selling a pile of speculative cards, that you're not heavily vested in as far as your financial output. You're not emotionally vested in them. So yeah, if you can sell them for, a 3+X multiplier, why not sell them and cash out and reallocate those funds? I mean, is that not the definition of a self-sustaining hobby, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's why I thought, I'm just, because I kind of forgot some of that stuff was in there. And
well, I mean, you're speculating at the end of the point. So if you're just holding on to the cards, you're not speculating the cards anymore. You're collecting the cards. So, it's, at some point you got to cash them out, or else you're not speculating. You're collecting.
Yeah.
At what point do you take the poker chips home with you from the casino, and you're excited to say, "Hey, I've got some poker chips here"? I mean, at some point they've got to be cashed in, at a profit or a loss. At some point they're just sitting there.
And the way the basketball market is right now, most of them are not going to be at a loss, because I was buying before they were cool. So,
but you're seeing that with Project 2020, a lot of sellers that bought in bulk are cashing out at a loss just to be able to say, look, odds of these ever rebounding. They are big and bulky. They're sealed in one touches, so it's not like they're penny sleeve cards you can pick in a.
It's like a bad piece of you just kind of move on, right?
Take your $5. Chalk it up as a very expensive lesson learned. So if this project rolls out again in 2 years or whatever, maybe that's not a project for you. We saw that with a good friend of ours, and he got into Topps now, and the shipping issues and create a lot of issues for him, and so he learned a tough lesson. Not Twins Jake level, but not far from it.
Speaking of lessons learned, this week you could have gone on a Zoom and learned about ROI, which is return on investment. Ben's good friend, and probably colleague, and mentor, his mentor. We'll call him as your mentor, Chris Stuber on Twitter. In case you missed it, I'm doing one-on-one sports card Zoom calls. If you're interested in building a sports card portfolio or gaining ROI on your current or future sports card investments, these 60-minute individual sessions are designed to do just that. If interested, message me. The funny thing about this is people did message him and ask him how much this would cost, and then they were instantly blocked. Doesn't sound like a very good sales strategy. And I have a way to keep, your ROI high. Don't pay somebody to tell you how to buy baseball and football and basketball and hockey cards. Because there's a ton of free information out there via podcasts, websites, blogs, social media accounts, where people give this information away for free.
I think I found,
and you actually can interact with them.
That guy and me went toe to toe too. I have that guy blocked because that guy's a knucklehead, but he's not wrong on that. He didn't understand what an artificial market is and how it's an umbrella over artificial scarcity and all the other avenues and aspects. He's like, artificial markets, you're using that wrong. I'm like, no, it's the umbrella that goes over everything underneath. There's all of these other branches. The market is the tree, and scarcity and manufacturer scarcity and all this other things are branches. And you're the little leaf that falls off in the fall. But Stuber, man, this guy is great. He cracks me up. And I remember getting blocked by him one day because I asked him, I said, hey, man, what is ROI? And he's like, it's return on investment. I was like, yeah, but how do you get that out of a card? I was like, because a return on investment is it's a return. It's your dividend. You're getting these returns time and time again, and cards don't offer dividends. So I don't understand how they can be investments. I said, can you please explain? Blocked. I'm like, oh, Chris, come out and play. My wife will let me stay out until the street light comes on. I can come out past my dinner time. We can go get ice cream together and ride our bicycles behind the ice cream truck. That Dub mentality, our good buddy Joey sent me some of his screenshots before Dub got blocked. And Dub's not the kind of guy that gets blocked, right?
Yeah.
He's non-confrontational. I get blocked because I piss people off and then they block me. I get that. I'm argumentative and I draw lines in the sand, and that pisses a lot of people off. But then this guy blocks Ryan Cracknell, and it's like, this guy's like a hobby asset. Plethora of information. He's a direct pipeline to Beckett. Why would you? He literally was blocking every legitimate account that would question his motives. And if he hasn't blocked you yet, he just hasn't come across your name. That's all. He hasn't made it to the J section. If you haven't reached out to him, maybe he's going in reverse order. But the amount of people blocked by him that were just asking simple questions: how much to Zoom? And I even reached out to him on Facebook. I'm like, hey, Chris, saw you were very active on Twitter today. I said, hey, let's do this. I will pay your fee. Anybody who wants to sit in our Zoom meeting can donate a minimum of $5, as much as they would like beyond that. We'll donate all those proceeds to St. Jude's, or you pick the organization you'd like to donate this money to. And all I ask is a 30-minute, unfettered, completely transparent economic conversation about trading cards. And so far it's been 3 days and he's seen it and he hasn't responded. We broke him the other day. Like literally, we
because if I had more time from work, because I'm trying to get I have to work tomorrow a little bit. I was trying to get everything wrapped up. So tomorrow is just my meeting in the morning and I'm kind of done. But good Lord, I wanted to. There's a couple times I pulled up Twitter and I was like, I want to try to get blocked today, but I just didn't have the time to think out and say really articulate my point. But it's like, please just don't do it. Like it's bad. Now listen, I will. In I've privately Zoomed with a handful of collectors. I didn't charge them a dime.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys want to talk about cards and doing self-sustaining or organization or setting up a podcast or getting contracted with a distributor, all that stuff, come ask me. We can schedule some time to talk.
There was a guy that responded to him and said, I paid for his service and I'll let you know how the meeting goes. And I was like, listen, man, don't. there's so many of us out there and that wouldn't charge you, because why would we charge you? Our information is based on our experiences. It's not necessarily going to work for you. All it is just a conversation. It's just our advice and based on our experiences. Maybe we can direct you in the right. Hey, I know so and so, and this person is quote unquote an expert in this, that, and the other thing, right? You want to get started on Sportlights? Cool. Well, let's hook you up with Mike Summer, who's established himself there as a successful seller, and he's readily available to help you. So on and so forth, right? Andrew had called that live Saturday morning show we used to be affiliated with one time and talked to, I believe it was Doug Caskey was on and was kind of talking about, should I do my own website? What are the advantages of that versus eBay? How do you get started? And Doug's like, hey, call me, hit me up in private. Let's talk about it. Why would Doug want to help Andrew, who is direct competition? Because that's just how the hobby is. Doug just sees that as hey, man, the more the merrier. It makes me challenge myself to be better at what I do.
Okay. Would you rather play Jeff Wilson of Sports Card Investor or Chris Stuber money to learn how to invest in cards?
I would rather pay Jeff Wilson for his time, and I'm going to tell you why. Because that boy at least he's a little more transparent about his scamming and his shadiness and his scumminess, and at least he doesn't run and hide like Chris. All you had to do was say hi to Chris the other day, and he was going to block you.
Just about.
Yeah.
I mean, we literally destroyed that poor boy, and people were just asking simple questions. How much do you charge? I'm interested. No thanks. Blocked.
Have they gotten to the B's? Are you blocked, Andrew?
No, but I don't think I'm that popular on Twitter is why.
Oh, well, I haven't been blocked yet. So. More categories. So at Dalsum fan, tweet out, hey, eBay, how about categories of digital sports cards at the same level as sports trading cards? Keeps the two separated for much better results. Digital market is going to grow. At Capper_Jones says, while they're at it, can we get breaks moved in there as well? Thoughts? I think those are smart decisions.
I love both ideas.
Where you have it under, but you have them as you have sports card breaks, digital sports cards, and then physical cards or whatever they want to list it as. And the reason I wanted to bring this question up is we have Andrew on here and wanted to see what he thinks about it.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I mean, they have a category in the sports card section of like, are you listing a box, a case, a single? They have a section called box and case breaks, which is where I always put mine. So I don't know. I don't know if they have one for digital cards. I don't think so.
I haven't seen one.
They could add a subcategory for digital, and that would go there. Because I know when I sort for cards, I click the single or the box or whatever, or a full case if I'm ever searching for it. So I mean, they could add a subcategory very easily as opposed to a full category. I think there's a lot of eBay server problems that eBay just frankly doesn't care about, which is they wouldn't do a full category. But there shouldn't be a reason why they don't do a subcategory, because they are right that for whatever reason the digital cards are blowing up.
And I don't get that, right? Like like Ben says, I can take a picture of it now. I have it. It's like, I can do a cut and paste and I have a digital, PDF of it.
Right. I mean, for my Will Clarks, I don't want a picture of a Will Clark card. I want the Will Clark card. And I want to hold it in my hand and put it in the top loader and see it.
Yeah. The only thing I've ever done is when Topps has done like a reprint of the Mike Trout rookie card, I have that in my bindered set versus the actual Mike Trout update rookie card.
But it's still an additional one.
Card.
What?
It's still a physical card.
Oh no, it's still a physical card. It's not the real card, but it's still.
That's okay. You can still hold it. You can love it. I want every version of Mark McGuire's 87 Topps, all of the reproductions, the Dairy Queen one they done,
the insert one where they have like an ad on the back of it because they had a Brett one like that.
Burger's Best. Yeah, I'm okay with that. The problem with this isn't my issue with digital cards isn't. I mean, first off, it's paying actual real money that I could pay my mortgage with. real money going to a digital. I mean, opening up the packs every day were kind of fun when I was doing it with my daughter. But the other issue I have is what happens if that app is ever unsupported? Then what happens to your digital collection? You know, why can't I just go right click on a JPEG and, you know, that's where I always poke fun at it is I've got a complete set. I've got the entire monster set of the T206, all the backs. It's in JPEG format. I can zip file it over to you if you want a copy of my set.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, it's a fake set. They're fake cards. I don't understand why people spend actual money on them. I mean, that's beyond me.
It's weird.
I mean,
So
money,
it looks like there is a filter for box and case breaks, as well as packs. But it'd be nice to actually have it as a category higher up in the filtering.
Yeah, I mean, well, because with the box and case breaks, you'd have to do a subcategory on what sport, and then probably same with the digital, you'd have to do a subcategory in each one of those. So I think it would be better in the product category. Now the ones that you had listed, you didn't click see all, so I don't know if maybe there was a digital option there as well.
Are digital cards in violations of the terms and conditions of eBay since they are not real? You're buying.
You can buy them on eBay.
What's that?
You can buy them on eBay. They're
no,
there.
You can't. I'm saying, are they technically in violation? Because what are you buying? I'm just buying an image in an app.
I mean,
right?
Is it any different than a redemption code for some online service, or hey, early access code for such and such video game?
That's what I'm asking. I don't know. I mean. It's really in a gray area unless it's clearly defined, which I don't know because that's why I'm asking. Does anybody know?
I don't.
Is it in violation? You know,
I don't touch digital cards, so I have no idea.
Hey, I'm really excited, Steph. You're in case and box breaks, and one of the years 1987 came up. That's awesome. I want to know who's breaking. Can you click on that? Who's breaking 87? What are we going to do? There we go.
Okay, so
box.
Well, sometimes you have to be careful with that because sometimes when they break apart a set, if they're not careful, they put that in a box break.
So Brett Howard in the YouTube chat says he believes they're technically not allowed by terms of service. Now, if anybody knows for definite, please reach out to us or me specifically. I'd love to know if they are or not. I mean, ACO cards, of course, is another gray area. At least it's a physical card, but now you have. I mean, these are at least licensed by Topps through the Topps app, through the Panini app. But are they, because they're just digital? Am I allowed to now sell JPEGs on?
Maybe. On your fans only, you can. How are you going to spend your $600, maybe possibly $2,000 stimulus check? Are they going to be spent on? Is it going to be just spent on cards? This has me thinking too, because if everybody's getting $600, man, I can. That Darius Baisley might be worth $10,000 now.
I am going to go to the printing press, talk to Dal Subfan since he owns the printing press, and see how many thousands of these I can get printed.
You need to change the bottom and not have it say Sabo.
Well, yeah, but
come on.
Look, it was a 5-minute Photoshop.
Well, so do 6 minutes. But no, are you guys spending any of your stimulus money back into the hobby?
Yes.
Maybe
all of it?
No. I tweeted out earlier. I think in when we received the first round in April, people were still uncertain. People still had their jobs. The unemployment rate hadn't yet escalated. You know, some people had been temporarily laid off potentially. And we were all told that this thing was going to end by Easter. This thing was going to, by summertime, you'll be able to go out and do all of, normal. We were under the impression normal life was going to return to normal life in short order. But here's some money to get you through the next, few weeks. We didn't know that 8 months later, with a 8-month political stalemate, that they would still be arguing over pennies to each individual. I mean, it really is a small percentage. When you look at it, right, you got a multi-trillion-dollar stimulus package where people are getting $600 each. I mean, I think people are more comfortable. They're more certain with their budgets now, even though those budgets are uncertain. You kind of know what to expect. And I know that I'm behind on my rent. So therefore I know that I'm going to have to use that towards catching up. You know that rent, expires on, like the holds on rent are expiring January 1st. You know that student loan forbearance is ending soon. You know that the additional unemployment isn't going to be extended. You know things that we didn't know back in April. So I think people are going to be a little bit more protective over this money, or already would have it designated towards going to certain things. But you are going to see the stupid people on Facebook saying, hey, I got, $600. Show me what you got. I want to buy. I have no intent on buying anything you got, but I want to waste your time. Show me everything you got. I'm not going to tell you what I collect. Just show it to me. You know you're going to have those knuckleheads, and we're already laughing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my wife's going to sequester all my money. So
Yeah, I'm not allowed to control the money, so it doesn't matter.
well, we're doing a whole kitchen and bathroom remodel, so it's like the little upgrades we wanted to do. That's probably where it's going to go. So yeah, that's fine. So I'm okay with that. If I need to make some money, I have all this behind me where I can.
You said you had how many SGAs available to sell? So
Yeah, tons. If you want SGA, come see me. Like when Darius
if it goes up to $2,000, if that does get approved on the House floor tomorrow,
I'm going to take something.
If you have anything that has any type of a potential ceiling, list that stuff the second the president signs the bill, because by the time that 7-day auction ends, and if eBay was smart, they would be offering 8% eBay bucks the day that thing is funded. Because people are going to pay. You're going to see a lot of knuckleheads, and I can see a short spike.
Oh, and we got eBay bucks coming up in January too, fellas.
Yes, January 3rd.
All right, we're gonna gamble and see who out of the three of us who has the most eBay bucks.
Probably Ben.
I did a lot of eBay spending for Christmas.
I think quarter-wise, I think I maybe, so Walter Johnson accounting for most of it, I think I maybe spent $150, $200.
I got about $45 in eBay bucks.
Oh,
most of those were non-coupons.
Yeah, you won. We sent out a tweet that got lots of love, so thanks to everybody earlier this week about the decade of the 60s Topps cards. Which design do you like best? 60 and 65 seem to get quite a bit of love. A lot came up, is this the best Topps decade that they've had?
Mm-mm.
It's pretty close.
Yeah. 2000 to 2009 is definitely the winner.
True. Then 10 to 19.
But I got to say something real quick. I don't see how 1960 is it's not the worst 1960s design, but it's not the best. 1962 by far is the worst. It's not.
Oh my God. 62 is the best outside of 87. Watch your mouth.
Love it or hate it. No, I'm actually in agreement with Night Owl. We both said 67, followed shortly by 65, and then 63 a distant third.
I really like 67 and 68. And I can't tell you why. I just do.
68 I would like if it had consistent backgrounds. Some of them will have bigger spacing in between. As well, you have the Milton Bradleys, which is kind of bastardized further. And then you can't tell them apart unless you know what goldenrod and all sorts of other yellow colors are.
You got to be honest. 61's pretty lame.
61's nice. 61 is very nice.
I know it's pretty lame. We're all over the board. Andrew, any opinion here?
I hate to agree with Ben, but I like the 62.
Maybe it's just that I picked Gaylord. I picked Gaylord Perry, and it looks like a really bad senior high school portrait that someone had to paint in their high school class to graduate. It looks like Topps Gallery. Let's be honest. It looks like a card from Topps Gallery.
There was a really good price at our LCS the other day on the 62 Maze. What do you have? 55 on it.
Yeah,
it wasn't too bad.
But I bought the 70 Maze.
My dad bought. One Christmas, my dad bought me the 62 Mantle and the 62 Maze at the same time. So those were by far and away my most expensive cards for the longest time. And to this day, they're probably still in the top 50. Just because, all of the stupid, numbered out of 5 cards and crap that cost us a fortune now. But they're by far 2 of my most beloved cards. And so I'm probably partial biased towards 62 for that reason, because honestly 65 is the best set, despite the fact that the 69 Jackson is glorious.
A personal aside, since he wanted to bring in Reggie, this might be the nicest 62 Topps card.
It's also got the Babe Ruth mini subset inside of it.
Sure, green tints.
Yeah. When Babe
Jim
was
Cat
a
in
boy.
the background.
Yeah.
Cat.
Yeah. Well, guys, I want to let you know we're going to be doing a 2021 bracket coming out. So it's going to be a 68 seed or 68 year bracket. So this is 1952 tops through 2019 tops.
Blasphemy. Blasphemy.
We're going to, well, because that's the years that we could work in with 68 teams and have 8 teams play off for the 16 seeds.
Do 70.
You can't. It's 60. We're doing 68.
Yeah, what are you going to put in 51? 51, the glorious 51?
Both 51s in a 2021.
And so we're going to do a bracket, and we're going to run it starting January 6th. We'll start it that Wednesday before the show, and that'll be the round of 60. That'll be the play-in for. We'll have 8 years playing to get in to be the 16 seeds, and then we'll roll out the whole 64 the next week on the 13th and go until our championship on the 17th of February. And who's going to be
Angela's birthday.
Yeah, and my nephew should be born by then, so I'm
It's
excited about
also Michael Jordan's birthday, so.
Mazel tov.
we are going to, 3 of us idiots are going to get together at some point and seed everybody. So we're going to be the committee for this. So if you hate the seeds, just to let you know, I'm guaranteeing this. 1987 will have a 1 seed somewhere.
And it's newsflash, it's going to win the whole thing because we will absolutely
we'll call the race early.
We will. Our decision
that's fake news, rigged election. So no, but if you have any input, let us know. We're going to get together probably after the holidays to discuss one afternoon or something. So this is a great thought. This is a way I want to end the show before we get to any of our final thoughts. But this came from Card Archivist this week. I continuously need to remind myself that everything in the hobby during the last couple of years is, quote, normal to people who joined during that time period. And I think this is a wonderful quote because some of us that got in 2000, that grew up in the 80s and 90s and came back in the early 2000s or in the 2010s have a different perspective on the guys that started collecting when Rich Klein and the dinosaurs were collecting, their favorite caveman cards. So, and then also what I call the kids collect, where they're collecting all this high-end craziness, and they've lived in that culture. So just remind yourself that, and also to remind yourself that the last 18 months of this hobby has been just an enormous run that I don't think a lot of us have ever really seen or experienced, where these card prices have been. Now we've seen higher prices back, we've seen high card prices in the past, but not to the extent that we're seeing it now. And to not get overwhelmed by it, and find yourself and collect the way you want to collect, and don't let anybody else tell you how to do it. If you want to make money, awesome. Yeah, if you want to collect 8,088 Donruss, Mark Grace cards, then do it. Whatever you want to do. But if you need help along the way, ask. There's tons of us, and we'll give the information away for free. Don't let anybody take your money.
Way too many people will do it for free.
Yeah. So, and if you don't know who to talk to, you can ask us. And if we don't have the answer, we're going to find you a smart friend and point you in that direction. But you guys, any final thoughts before we head out tonight?
I have 2. One, the show count just hit 750 subscribers. Technically 753 as of right now. Nice little solid platform there. And did we answer that question already? Side chat?
Sending a lot of this is from Rich Frank. I'm sending in a lot of my collection this spring. I think I'm going to use Pristine Auction. Any other good recommendations? I don't know. I've never done auction houses before.
But we can find you an answer. We'll
I've
find
heard a lot of
expert at that.
success
Pristine.
through Sparty going through Heritage as well as Pristine. So
Golden maybe.
It probably depends too on what kind of cards you have in your collection. Some are geared toward the vintage versus the new stuff too.
that's fair.
Yeah, nice.
I have one final thing. I got an early Christmas gift this evening from my dad right before the show. He wrote me a poem that I will read. It says, I know. Obsessed with one card to collect gives the reason for me to suspect why collectors are saying that Ben Wilson's not playing with 52 cards in his deck.
He's not wrong.
I will tweet that out. So then he gave me a deck of cards. And inside happens to be 52 1987 Topps Mark McGwire cards. Now,
what does that bring your total to?
Close to a little over 700. Now, he used tape. And so we know we don't put tape near cards because then you have to use a knife. And we don't use knives near our baseball cards because you could always potentially, we like PSA 11s. So inside happens to be the most glorious card of the greatest first baseman in all of the Bay Area, of the entire junk wax era. Okay? It is Mark McGwire, his first official Oakland A's true rookie card on this Merry Christmas. I did want to also say not only thank you to my dad for this glorious package of a complete deck, which I don't always have and work with, but to all collectors out there, Andrew included. He's so generous, sending us stuff. I've been doing on Twitter, being thankful every day for different things. Today's was the best because it was the end of Project 2020. Thank God. But honestly, I think we all can agree, and I'm not just talking for the four of us, but just in general, all of us can agree. The generosity of the hobby is amazing. It's what keeps us collecting and coming back. And, we've had friends that have had, parents pass away this year. We've had friends that have had strokes and other physical maladies, and friends going through divorces and all kinds of stuff. And, we have such a great group of individuals that are always willing with their phones on to say, hey, I'm here. And we have great friends that are like, hey, I pulled this card that I don't collect, but I know it belongs in your home, in your collection. Or I know, I Mark Mosley, the cards I shared last week, the hand-drawn cards of my children. I found out that his son collects Matt Chapman cards. So anytime Andrew sends me Matt Chapman cards I don't need, they're going to be rehomed to Parker Mosley because he's a young collector. I just hope that someday he doesn't get his own job and start. By then, Matt Chapman will be a Yankee, and I won't be PCing it anyway. But that was the whole thing. I'll send you Matt Chapman's until you get your job. I don't want to have to fight with you on eBay over these.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, just the generosity and Merry Christmas to everybody. Have a safe holiday from everybody here at About the Cards, and on behalf of course, Bayside Breakers as well.
Andrew, any thoughts before? Where can we find you and hop into your breaks, all that fun stuff?
It's all through eBay, Bayside Breakers. The Gmail, you can always email me, baysidebreakers@gmail.com. Twitter is Bayside Breakers. I just keep it simple because I don't want to remember 5 different names. We're just if you want to chat about cards too, I'm here. If you have any questions about breaking, you want to get into it, or you want to do it yourself, I'm always there to lend a helping hand, whatever you need.
Steph?
Great. I want to say merry or happy, whatever doesn't offend you. And from everyone here, hopefully we have better 2021s in hindsight.
This is great. This has been one interesting year. I all the sentiments along, man. I mean, it's been good to do this show this year with you guys, and we have one more show coming up for the end of the year. And Dan Serbia at Serbia Sports will be Sports Cards is going to be on with us next week to close out the year. We're going to talk about some year in review stuff, our goals for 2021. So we're going to send out a tweet if you want to share your goals with us. Also, any awesome presents that you might have received during the holiday season. Those are always fun. Last year, I got the George Brett autograph bat that damn near made me cry. So, and stuff. It says George Brett, whatever. Still Hall of Famer. I'm like, fuck it. And like I said, Chris Torres is coming up on the 13th. Ryan Cracknell on the 20th. Our buddy Big Game James Good from Run Good Life is coming on in early February to talk about his YouTube channel and doing some stuff there. If you've ever seen some of his content, like he did a wrestling intro to his latest piece of content, it was pretty interesting, and so he's got a lot of great. We're trying to bring on some cool hobby folks on, and if you have a recommendation for somebody you'd like to see on the show, let us know. Happy holidays, and remember we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific,
10 Central
on YouTube, Periscope, Facebook Live. Make sure to subscribe and review our show on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter about the cards. Follow Ben at Junkwax Twins. Follow Ben at Our Trading Cards. Follow Steph at Junkwax Twins. Follow Andrew at Bayside Breakers. And follow me at Big Shep 79. Please share your hobby stories and great pulls our way. Keep collecting. We'll talk to you next week.